Hello, everyone. This is Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin. Thank you guys for joining me one more time. Hope you all have had a great weekend. We're going to get right into our discussion. What I want to talk about today, as God's laid upon my heart, is the mark of the beast. Now, we all are familiar with what the book of Revelation teaches will be a time of trouble and sorrow upon this earth that will be greater than any time in all of human history. We know that in Bible prophecy, commonly known as the Great Tribulation, a 7-year period whereby God will pour out his wrath upon this sinful world. And at the same time, we also know that there's going to be a being that will exist during this time known as the Antichrist. Now, having understood this, I want to talk about the mark of the beast. And I want to talk about how that I have been hearing this for quite some time, particularly when it first came out in reference to the vaccine. Now, that is kind of gone and went, and you don't hear much about it now because the Biden administration hasn't been able to impose it on everyone like he wanted to. Okay, thank God the Senate shot that down, and now he can't make everyone get vaccinated. Okay, so that's a done deal. But let me point something out very important here before I read the scripture, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about, is that this video is not about whether or not you should get the vaccine or whether or not you shouldn't get the vaccine. This is not what this video is about. If you got the vaccine, you got the vaccine. If you didn't get the vaccine, you didn't get the vaccine. It's your choice. So that's not what this video is about. What I want to talk about in this video is whether or not the vaccine is the mark of the beast. Now, I had talked about this subject on my political channel, and I talked about this subject, but God laid it upon my heart to talk about this on my Bible channel here, because this has become a raging situation, if you will, for lack of a better word, among some believers. Oh, it's the mark of the beast, it's the mark of the beast. No, it's not the mark of the beast, it's not the mark of the beast. Oh, it's the mark of the beast, it's the mark of the beast. And they're scared and they're terrified because and I can understand that. I can understand why many believers are scared and terrified that perhaps this vaccine may be the mark of the beast. But I want to share with you what I personally believe, okay? Now, everybody's going to have various beliefs. So like I said, this is not a video condemning anyone who believes it's the mark of the beast. But I'm going to share with you what I personally believe based on my understanding of the scripture. I personally believe that it is not the mark of the beast, but that it is leading up to the mark of the beast. Now, I'm going to explain that in detail later, but let's go to the book of Revelation. Revelation, the 13th chapter, and I'm going to be reading out the New Living Translation here. Revelation, the 13th chapter, beginning at the 16th verse. He required everyone. Now, let me point out real quickly here, but who John, the Apostle John, is referring to here when he says he. The Apostle John in this verse, in chapter 13, verse 16, when he says he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, the he's referring to is not the Antichrist or the beast. The beast is just, of course, we know the beast is just another term for the Antichrist. The Antichrist is given many names throughout the Bible: little horn, man of sin, the prince that shall come, in the book of Isaiah and so forth. He's given all these different names, okay? But the name we mostly know him as is that of Antichrist, even though the name Antichrist is not really attributed to him. The phrase Antichrist recorded in 1 John, okay, the letter for 1 John is actually a reference to individual people who are against Christ, okay? But the term Antichrist has been given to this one particular individual because he will be the personification, the embodiment of everything that is against Jesus Christ. Now, going back to this point here, the personal pronoun he that the Apostle John is referring to here is not the Antichrist or the beast. This is the global one world false prophet who requires everyone to receive. I hear people say this all the time. The Antichrist will make everybody get a mark. Well, first of all, it's not the Antichrist that does it. It's the false prophet. Now, the false prophet will be assisting the Antichrist. But the false prophet will be a one world global religious leader who will have control over not only the religion, one world religious system, but he will also have control over the economic situation. He will have control over the economy. You say, how do you know that? Well, let's look at what he says. He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. Then in verse 17 it says, and no man could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Now, let me say something here. Let me point this out. Going back to my original statement that I personally believe that the vaccine is not the mark of the beast. So if any of you have, or any Christian that have gotten the vaccine feels like, oh, I may have gotten the mark of the beast, or if there's any Christian that's saying that the vaccine is the mark of the beast, in my spiritual opinion, I don't believe it is. And here's the reason why. Okay. If you look at the verse in verse 16, first it says he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on what? The right hand or the forehead. Now let me ask this question. When you got the vaccine, did they stick the vaccine in your forehead? Did they stick the needle in your forehead? Did they stick the needle on your right hand? I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but according to the scripture here, it says that the mark is going to be given on the right hand or on the forehead. So this vaccine can't be the mark of the beast simply because the verse says you're going to have to receive it on your right hand or on the forehead. Now, from what I understand, the vaccine is injected with a needle. So if I don't know of anyone that injects the needle in somebody's forehead or in their right hand, the palm of their hand or the top of their hand. I don't know of any. If it is, please let me know in the comment box below. But I don't know of any way of someone getting, I don't know of any way of someone being injected that way. It could be, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Okay. But according to the scripture, it plainly says here that the mark of the beast will be given we place on the forehead or on the right hand. So that's the first reason why I believe that the vaccine is not the mark of the beast. So you can be rest assured that it's not the mark of the beast. The other reason why I believe it's not the mark of the beast, because according to the later chapters in the book of Revelation, when God begins to pour out his wrath upon those who have received the mark of the beast, they suffer terrible calamity. Now, why would God pour out his wrath on people who have the mark of the beast if the vaccine is the mark of the beast? In other words, if you got the vaccine and you believe the vaccine is the mark of the beast, why would God pour his wrath out on you? Why would he do that? Why would he pour his wrath out on you for something that you didn't know was the mark of the beast? Think about it. If it's the mark of the beast and if the vaccine is the mark of the beast, don't you think it would be a conscious decision that you would have to make? The mark of the beast will be a conscious decision that people will make to reject God and worship the Antichrist. Those who have the mark of the beast, it says they're going to worship the Antichrist. They're going to worship the beast. Are you worshiping the Antichrist? Those of you who have gotten the vaccine, are you worshiping Satan? That's what the scripture teaches. Read the later chapters of the book of Revelation. It says those that have the mark worship the Antichrist and worship him, and they're going to suffer the wrath of God. Are you worshiping the Antichrist, or are you worshiping God? If you're not worshiping Antichrist, and if you are not rejected or renounced your faith in God, and have now put your allegiance you have given your allegiance to the Antichrist or Satan, if you haven't done that, then the vaccine is not the mark of the beast. Okay. Now, let me explain to you why I believe the vaccine is leading up to the mark of the beast. The vaccine is saying, well, in order, certain businesses and companies, and even the president, okay, have made that assessment that in order for people to work at this particular job, you have to be vaccinated. That if you're not vaccinated, you can't work at this job. You can't go to this place. You can't go to this restaurant. Now you say, how is that leading up to the mark of the beast? I believe that the vaccine and other things are conditioning the masses of people to accept the mark of the beast. Because according to this scripture here, verse 17 says, and no man could buy or sell anything without that mark. To buy, you could, in other words, if you didn't have this mark, you couldn't buy anything. You couldn't buy food. You couldn't buy whatever you needed to buy, and you couldn't sell, which means you couldn't own a business. So you couldn't buy anything and you couldn't run a business if you don't have the mark, according to verse 17 here. Well, if you look at the vaccine, it was saying the president was saying, and some of the companies and businesses were saying that if you guys are not vaccinated, you can't work at this place. You can't hold a position, or you can't hold a job here. Well, if you can't hold a job, that means you're going to be what? Jobless. And if you're jobless, that means you don't have no money. If you don't have no money, that means you can't what? Buy food. So I believe that the vaccine is and people and the government trying to push people to receive the vaccine is a way to condition people to get the mark of the beast. By the time the Great Tribulation gets here and the Antichrist makes his appearance and the false prophet makes his appearance and the mark of the beast is initiated, people will just give into it just like that. Because by that time, they would have been conditioned to say, okay, let me go ahead and get this mark because I can't eat and I can't own a business and I can't eat and I have to survive. So they're going to go ahead and get it. So it says millions of people, perhaps billions of people all over the world are going to get this mark without any hesitation whatsoever. The problem is they're going to have to renounce God and accept the Antichrist, i.e. the beast or whatever name he's going to be given at the time, Lord Maitreya, whatever. And they're going to have to accept him as God. We know this because the book of Revelation, as I said later on, states that they're going to suffer the wrath of God for worshiping the beast. Those who have the mark, they're going to worship the beast and they're going to suffer the wrath of God. So I don't believe that the vaccine is the mark of the beast for the reasons that I just gave. Okay, you're going to receive the mark on your forehead and in your hand, on your palm, right palm of your hand, on your right hand rather. So so with this vaccine, I don't know of any where they took the needle and stuck it in your forehead or stuck it in your right hand. If it is, leave it in the comment box below. So no, the vaccine is not the mark of the beast in my view. However, it is leading up to the mark of the beast. It is a preconditioning to condition people and brainwash people and make it easier for them to accept the mark of the beast that is coming. So I just wanted to bring that out. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button. Share this video and subscribe. God bless you all and see you again on Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin.